Vijanavalabha Girivaradhare Yasodanandana Bhaja Janaranjana Yasodanandana Bhaja Janaranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachare Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihare Jayam Vishnu Paparamahansa Bharakacharya Aso Satatata Shishimba Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Premji Kahan Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopanath Sham Kun Radha Kun Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Mathura Dham Ki Jai Navavid Dham Ki Jai Mayapur Dham Ki Jai Nitai Gaur Premanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Ma Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Putale Shri Mati Bhaktivedanta Swami Namne Namaste Saraswati Devi Guruvada Vicharane Nirvishesha Sanyavadi Kaskantya Desha Tarane. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd canto, 3rd chapter, text 13. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Sa karṇa-duḥśāsana and Saubalānāṁ. Kumantra-pākena hata-śriyāyuṣam. Suyodhanam sa-anucaram śayānaṁ. bhagnorum ūrvyāṁ nananda paśyan. Sa karṇa-duḥśāsana and Saubala kumantra-pākena hata-śriyāyuṣam. Suyodhanam sānucaraṁ śayānam. bhagnorum ūrvyāṁ nananda paśyan. Translation. Oh, I'm sorry. Please. Ladies? saubalānām. Kumantra-pākena hata-śriyāyuṣam. Suyodhanaṁ sānucaraṁ śayānaṁ. Bhagnorum ūrvyāṁ nananda paśyan. Sa, he, the Lord. Karna, duḥśāsana, saubalānām, kumantra-pākena, by the intricacies of ill advice. Hata-śriya, bereft of fortune. āyuṣam, duration of life. Suyodhanam, Duryodhana. Sa-anucaram, with followers. śayānaṁ, lying down. Bhagna, broken. Ūrum, thighs. ūrvyāṁ, very powerful. Did not. Nananda, take pleasure. Paśyan, seeing that. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Duryodhana was bereft of his fortune and duration of life because of the intricacy of ill advice given by karṇa-duḥśāsana and Saubala. When he lay on the ground with his followers, his thighs broken, although he was powerful, the Lord was not happy to see the scene. Read it together, the translation. Duryodhana was bereft of his fortune and duration of life because of the intricacy of ill advice given by karṇa-duḥśāsana and Saubala. When he lay on the ground with his followers, his thighs broken, although he was powerful, the Lord was not happy to see the scene. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The fall of Duryodhana, the leading son of Dhritarashtra, was not pleasing to the Lord, although he was on the side of Arjuna, and it was he who advised Bhima to break the thighs of Duryodhana while the fight was going on. The Lord is constrained to award punishment upon the wrongdoer, but he is not happy to award such punishments because the living entities are originally his parts and parcels. He is harder than the thunderbolt for the wrongdoer and softer than the rose for the faithful. The wrongdoer is misled by bad association and by ill advice, which is against the established principles of the Lord's order, and thus he becomes subject to punishment. The surest path to happiness is to live by the principles laid down by the Lord and not disobey his established laws, which are enacted in the Vedas and the Puranas for the forgetful living entities. Vajnanatimarandasya kirachana shalakaya chakshu unmulitanyena tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. And we are the forgetful living entities. So this verse has two very important points that I wanted to discuss. First is association. In Srimad Bhagavatam, Hiranyakasipu says to his son, he gives him some good advice, that association is crystallizing. We see that we become whom we're with, whether it's good association or bad association. Kamsa was a very evil person, but it was considerably due to his association. When Devaki and Vasudeva were in the prison, and when they were in prison, and Vasudeva had brought the daughter of Yasoda, who was Yogamaya, to kill her. He came to kill her because everybody in the palace said, Vasudeva has come and a child has been born. So he was determined to kill this last child, even though it was a daughter. And he took the child and smashed her, was about to smash her on the wall. And Davy begged him, please don't kill this girl. Please don't kill this girl, this daughter. Please, you've killed all my children. Don't kill this one child. Give her to me as in charity. But Kamsa was so evil that he smashed the baby against the wall. But of course, it was Yogamaya. So she went up in the air and said to Kamsa, "Why, you fool? What are you doing? You cannot kill me. The one who will kill you has already taken birth somewhere else." He was amazed. He was a worshiper of Durga. He expected the mercy of the Mahamaya principle, the Yogamaya principle. And he became terrified. He saw her displaying her form of 8 arms, carrying weapons, sitting on her, is it a lion or a tiger? Lion or tiger, one of those ferocious beasts that she rides. So she said to him, so he looked at her, he was terrified and paid his obeisances, and out of instant remorse and regret, he said to Vasudeva and Devaki, "Please forgive me," and set them free. Of course, Vasudeva didn't believe this change of heart, but he was feeling very genuine, Kamsa. He went to his palace and he told his ministers what happened. And they said, "No, no, 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 you should kill all the babies." Now that's some advice. That's negative advice, right? Kill all the babies. So of course Kamsa did that. And we recently heard of Narakasura, who due to his bad association became a demon. Even though he was Krishna's son, he became a demon. He was Varaha's son. And what to speak of Ajamil? Ajamil was raised as a pure Brahmin, and due to association of a prostitute that he saw 2 Sudras making in intimate relations on the road, and he became affected by that association. So association is crystallizing. We have to choose very carefully our association. Of course, if we associate with devotees, we become devotees. If we associate with people who are inimical to Krishna, inimical to devotees, then we become inimical. It's very important, even in devotional life, to choose very wisely our association. And of course, the most valuable association we have is Srila Prabhupada. We have his books. And don't think for a moment that you are not directly associating with Srila Prabhupada by reading his books. See, people sometimes say, "Oh, the Prabhupada disciples, we all had Prabhupada's association." Actually, we didn't all have personal association with Srila Prabhupada. We had association through our service. And he wrote his books for his disciples and for future devotees to take advantage of the association of a Nitya Siddha. Very important, this association. So we're all blessed, and we all can have the association of pure devotee if we read Prabhupada's books determinedly. So let's just now talk about the next very important part of this verse, which is Krishna's compassion. Duryodhana was a very powerful king. He actually he was a very good king. He took care of all of the necessary duties that a king performs. He provided for the citizens. He was actually very good at management. He had one fault. And who can say that one fault? Who can tell me that one fault? Can you say? No? One fault of Duryodhana, that he was inimical to the devotees. Not only inimical, his life was based on the demise of the Pandavas. Very dangerous. Because what is Krishna called? Bhaktavatsala. There is no one more dear to Krishna than the devotee. So this was very risky for Duryodhana to go down that path. But because he committed the greatest offense of offending the devotee, he was doomed. He was a wrongdoer, and he was doomed to suffer. Even though he was doomed to suffer, and Krishna himself actually arranged this method of suffering for Duryodhana. It's an interesting story from the Mahabharata, and Prabhupada tells this story. We know that Gandhari blindfolded herself. And because she knew that her husband, Prabhupada says, her would-be husband was also blind. So she decided to blindfold herself. She didn't want to be superior to her husband in any way. So, but she had a power. She was a great ascetic. Gandhari was a great ascetic. We can see that there are great ascetics even within our movement, male and female. So, Gandhari told her son, Duryodhana, you come to me tomorrow, and I will remove my blindfold. She had been wearing this blindfold for many, many, many years. She had not seen anything. She told her son, you come, and I will remove my blindfold, and I will scan your whole body, and it will become like iron. No one will be able to harm you. So Duryodhana was thinking, well, that takes care of that. He's in good hands now. He's going to follow his mother's advice. So the next day, he's walking through the palace, totally naked. And who does he meet along the way? He meets Krishna. Krishna says, what are you doing walking completely naked? I'm going to see my mother. You're going to see your mother naked? Put on a gamcha or something. You can't go in front of your mother naked like that. No, 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 no. So, Krishna said it, even though he didn't listen to a lot of other things that Krishna said, this he listened to. So he put on some cloth around his thigh and his private parts, and he went into Gandhari's room. And Gandhari said, my son, are you here? Yes, Mata, I'm here to get your blessings. She removed her blindfold. This is the first time she's seeing 30, 40, I don't even know, many, many years. Takes off the blindfold, and she starts to scan his body. And she sees that he's wearing a gamcha. What are you doing? Why are you wearing that gamcha? You are ruining my plan. Who told you to do this? I saw Krishna. Gandhari says, oh, because actually she was a devotee. But she did pay Krishna back. That's another story. So, Krishna was looking at Duryodhana, and of course he arranged this whole thing. He looked at Duryodhana, and he felt remorse. Actually, not remorse. He felt sorry. It says right here, he felt sorry. He was not happy to see the condition, the deplorable condition of Duryodhana lying there pathetically with broken thighs, and his heart went out to him. And this is his compassion. Even though this horrible Duryodhana committed so many offenses, the major offense that no one should ever do, because Krishna is Bhakta-vatsala. No one offend a devotee, not even in the mind. Do not risk it, because everything is over if you do that. So he felt some remorse. In fact, he did not hate Duryodhana. Krishna did not hate Duryodhana, nor does a devotee, a pure devotee, does not hate anyone. That is not in the realm of pure devotional service to hate. It's the modes of nature. A pure devotee sees the modes of nature at work, battling with each other. That's why we battle with each other, because of the modes of nature, not because of the soul. So whatever it is that makes us hate, we have to go back to the Bhagavad Gita and see it's the modes of nature at work. Even though Krishna displayed his adorya-bhav, his compassion to Duryodhana and others in his appearance, it was not full-blown. But he did come again in his full-blown adorya-bhav. And who is that? Everyone together say it. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the Panchatattva. So that. And Lord Chaitanya gave us the Shikshastika. The Shikshastika is 8 instructions that is the essence of the Vedas. If we know these 8 instructions, we don't need to know anything else. But I'm talking really, really know, and of course you have to read a lot of books to know these 8 instructions. So, in the incarnation, in the appearance of Lord Chaitanya, he came in the most merciful form so that he could bestow the greatest benediction. All glories to the Sri Krishna Sankirtan, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years and extinguishes the fire of conditional life of repeated birth and death. This Sankirtan movement is the prime benediction. The prime benediction, and no one is excluded. Everyone can take advantage of Lord Chaitanya's adorya-bhav. But there is one thing. There is that one thing that if we offend the devotee of Krishna, everything is finished. We will not get the mercy if we offend the devotee. Lord Chaitanya talks in the Chaitanya Charitamrita chapter, Madhya Lila chapter 19, he speaks to Rupa Goswami and he instructs him. And in those instructions are a whole description, a wonderful description of the Bhakti Lata. And inside of that Bhakti Lata, there is one thing that he mentions, and that is called Hatimata. The Hatimata, the mad elephant offense. If someone offends a devotee, his devotional life is finished. Do you know what a mad elephant does? We have elephants here. They seem pretty calm, which is very nice, because a mad elephant destroys everything that he sees. What to speak about going into a garden? Even if he's not mad, if an elephant walks in a garden, he's going to ruin everything anyway. But, so that's what happens when someone offends a devotee. Lord Chaitanya, one time there was an incident where Mother Sachi was harboring some ill feelings toward Advaita Acharya. Because Vishwarup, Lord Nityananda's brother, Sachimata's son, was the student of Advaita Acharya. And she blamed him because due to his instructions, Vishwarup took sannyas. And it's true. It probably was true due to the instructions of Advaita Acharya that Vishwarup took sannyas. But she was a mother. She wanted grandchildren, and she wanted a daughter-in-law, and she was very hurt. And she harbored this offense. And Lord Chaitanya wanted to save his mother from this dreadful offense of offending a devotee. So we invited Sachimata. Sachimata was there at this place, I think it was their home or another devotee's home, and he invited Advaita Acharya to come. And Advaita Acharya on the way was singing the glories of Mother Sachi. So when he got there, it was a perfect opportunity for Mother Sachi to pay her obeisances to Advaita Acharya and to rid herself of even the tendency to criticize a devotee. Even criticizing a devotee is dangerous. And Lord Chaitanya wanted his mother to become rid of all of these kinds of contaminations. So Lord Chaitanya is the golden avatar. He is the greatest, most merciful manifestation of the Lord's Adorya Bhav. But there is another thing. There is something else, that is some other incarnation of the Lord that is even more merciful than Lord Chaitanya. Okay, that there too. Even more merciful than Nityananda. Keep going. Harinama, Harinama, Harinama eva kevalo. The holy name of the Lord is the most merciful. Second Shikshastika. Oh my Lord, your holy name alone can render all benediction to the living being, and thus you have hundreds of millions of names like Krishna and Govinda. In these transcendental names, you have invested all your transcendental potencies. The holy name will go with anyone, anywhere. To the ends of the world, to even in hell, the holy name, if the holy name is chanted without offense, you are directly in the association with Krishna. Directly in the association with Krishna. We're all praying, where are you, my Lord? Where are you? Where is Krishna? Where is Krishna? I'm not seeing Krishna. Are you hearing what you're saying? Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. You're chanting the holy name of Krishna. He is in his name. But alas, there is one condition. There is a condition in this unconditional love. There is one condition. If you offend, and actually it's the first offense against the holy name. What's the first offense? Don't risk it. Don't even think of offending a devotee. One should not offend someone who has dedicated his life to propagation of the holy name of the Lord. Now that word propagation, what does that mean? Does that mean only when you go out? You're chanting, you're associating, it's staying with you, propagating, it's going into the airways. Prabhupada said, if you chant the holy name, it goes around the world, what, 11 times, 12 times, 7 times? How many times? 7 times. So, so the holy name actually is our dearmost friend, And there are many, many verses throughout the Vedic literatures that glorify the holy name of Krishna. There's a book by a very intimate associate of Lord Chaitanya, Jagannatha Pandit. And this book is called Prema Varta, and even in Prabhupada's books, in the purports, I read one time that there are 2 books that all devotees should read. One is Prema Varta, and I think the other one is Krishna Karanamrita by Bivalamangala Thakur. So this book is very, very wonderful, and I'd like to read a verse. Hare Krishna. See, that's the encouragement to read this wonderful verse in the Prema Varta. Lord Chaitanya spent his final 18 years in Jagannath Puri, and he lived in the Gambhira, which was in Kasi Mishra's house. So I think there's a reference to Kasi Mishra's house here. One day, Krishnadas broke his long silence and asked Lord Chaitanya a question in Kasi Mishra's house. If you will kindly permit me to ask, then please tell me about the unlimited and wonderful glories of the holy name, about which even Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma are unacquainted. Lord Chaitanya replied, The excellences of the holy name are like an ever-expanding shoreless ocean. Even Lord Krishna himself does not know the limits of it. What to speak of ordinary mortals? I will simply repeat what is written in the scriptures. If you listen with proper faith, you can be delivered from this distressful material world. Faith in the holy name. The holy name is capable of dissolving sins and removing impediments. The name embalms sufferings and diminishes the detriments that are so characteristic of Kali Yuga. It redeems the unredeemable residents of hellish planets and nullifies the inevitable sinful reactions carried over from previous births. The holy name purifies offenses and is the quintessence of all transcendental activities, shining more brilliantly than the Vedas. Excuse me. The scriptures declare that chanting is the highest spiritual activity, higher than making pilgrimages to the holiest of places. The holy name is omnipotent and benefits the chanter with unimaginable good fortune. That's my phone. Darn. I'm so sorry. Oh my God, I didn't even know I had this one. I'm really sorry. Hare Krishna. Okay, this is a good part. The holy name is, I'm going to start a little before that. The holy name is capable of dissolving sins and removing impediments. The name embalms sufferings and diminishes the detriments that are so characteristic of Kali Yuga. It redeems the unredeemable residents of hellish planets and nullifies the inevitable sinful reactions carried over from previous births. The holy name shining more brilliantly than the Vedas. The scriptures declare that chanting is the highest spiritual activity, higher than making pilgrimages to the holiest of places. The holy name is omnipotent and benedicts the chanter with unimaginable good fortune. Its very nature is that it elevates one to experience divine bliss. A chanter is no ordinary person, where he becomes worthy of the entire world's praise. The holy name is the only means of salvation for the fallen conditioned souls, and it is always worshipable, for it offers the much desired liberation, exalts one to the supreme spiritual abode, and blesses the chanter with transcendental love of Godhead, Sri Hari. The Shrutis and Smriti contain countless proofs of the holy name's sublime position. It is the supreme destination of all spiritual aspirations and the mainstream of the current of bhakti, devotional service. All glories to the holy name. We have to spend time with the holy name. He is our dearmost friend. There is no one more merciful than the holy name. And also another real important thing is that we can only give what we have. If we want to give people the holy name, we have to have the holy name. We have to have a relationship with the holy name. We have to know the holy name. We have to chant the holy name. Shravanam Kirtanam, reading and chanting. So Krishna, in this form of the holy name, is the topmost personality. But there is one more person who is greater, more compassionate, the mercy incarnation of the Lord. Who is that person? Without his mercy, one cannot make any spiritual advancement. Who is that? Srila Prabhupada, your guru. Actually, Srila Prabhupada is the guru for all ISKCON. He is a Shiksha guru. Without his books, we cannot understand anything about Krishna. Reading his books and chanting the holy name, that is our main business, because then we can give something. We can't give it if we don't have it, right? We can't give it if we don't have it. So that's the spiritual master. We can give millions of classes about the glories of Srila Prabhupada. I come from Alachua. There are many Prabhupada disciples living. I'm also a Prabhupada disciple. My name is Samapriya. I forgot to introduce myself. Hare Krishna. But Srila Prabhupada is the only way that we can get out of the material world. He will teach us everything. He will teach us love. Love is the thing that we need. Love is how we relate. Love is what we need. Love is what we can give. The holy name is love. Srila Prabhupada is teaching us love. And actually, I wanted to read one poem a while ago. I wrote a book called The Divine Love Trip. And I wrote a poem about the holy name that I thought maybe you'd like to hear. It's called Married to the Holy Name. Betrothed by Srila Prabhupada, the holy name to wed, vowing not to put another in his sacred bed, you dance upon my tongue, taking me a journey far, throughout the worlds and inner space, revealing who you are. You are my husband, and I pledge to stay with you forever. I pray to keep you in my heart in all I may endeavor. As your wife, I take an oath to serve you best I can, placing you upon my lips, surrendered to your plan. You are first in everything of duties I perform. Of you my voice will ever sing, though I struggle to conform to that which you would have me do, to prove that I belong to you. So many times you make me cry, and only patience shows me why. The holy name of the Lord is my life and soul. He leads me through the darkness to cleanse my heart of coal. I will never stray from him. We're bound eternally and walk together as though one, but ever separately. O Harinam, when I call, you appear in sound. It is I who turns away. You're always to be found. With chastity and loyalty, let my dependence thrive, resounding in my humbled heart. Your love remains alive. If somehow you leave this place, I will come along. I cannot live without your grace nor your hallowed song. No matter where I find myself, how fervent I must pray, having taken hold my heart, upon my lips you stay. Hare Krishna. All glories to the holy name. So I thought maybe we could have a little discussion about the holy name, and if anyone would like to say something about their realizations in chanting, or questions about the holy name at this point. Yes.
Krishna, thank you very much for the inspiring class. I have a question from the purport. The purport, Srila Prabhupada writes, as hard as thunderbolt and as soft as rose.
Yeah.
Can you please elaborate upon it, that how, see, in the Lord we can understand that all contradictions can reside within the Lord.
Yeah. Okay, good. That's a nice question. For a Vaishnava or for Krishna?
For Krishna it is understood, because all contradictions can reside in Krishna.
Yeah, yes. Well, we see it here manifest. He actually was as soft as a rose when he felt this empathy to Duryodhana, and he was very hard in his determination to destroy him. Two things are contradictory. And also a devotee in his, Prabhupada used to tell mostly the Sankirtan women, you should be a lion outside and a lamb at the temple, because you need to have some strength to defeat the atheists, to defeat the demons, to defeat that demonic tendency, to defeat all of the difficulties in this world. And actually, the greatest strength comes from love. The greatest strength. You can change hearts through love. Because the demons, they're better at being heavy than we are. They are. But if you love someone, if you actually give that love that we are benedicted with, because we're in contact with the source of all love. I have found in my own preaching that if we relate to people in a loving way, that they're not threatened, then they will turn. So, but you can understand Prabhupada's mentality also of being a lion on the chase out on Sankirtan, and a lamb at home, submissive and wanting to assist the devotees. Is that all right? Anyone else? Janmashtami, did you want to say something?
Say something.
You're always
Read my mind. There's a in Madhya 22:113, Chaitanya Charitamrita. There's a famous verse: Smartavya sadatam Vishnur Vishmartavyo najatuchat Sarve vidhi nesheda shur etayoreva kinkara. One should always remember Krishna, and one should never forget Krishna. All the rules and regulations are simply servants of these two principles. And in the purport, Prabhupada describes if we want to remember Krishna, then we have to chant Hare Krishna. And then he goes on to say, of all the instructions of the spiritual master, the chanting of 16 rounds is the most essential.
Thank you. I wanted to bring that up.
So the point is that we just have to arrange our life in such a way to optimize our chanting.
Right.
Rest early, don't eat a big meal before taking rest, so you don't nod out, and do everything. So, including avoiding offending devotees and thinking offensively towards devotees.
Okay.
The whole life
Right.
has to be dedicated to this.
Right.
And then we can access the amazing mercy that the holy name
Yes.
distributes,
Ho-
gives us.
Hopefully at this point in our devotional lives, as we get a little older and we've been chanting Hare Krishna for many, many years, then some kind of a taste will develop. And we'll want to spend more time with the holy name, and we'll want to increase our rounds. And then what happens if you increase your rounds and you increase your time with Krishna? You have more to give when you preach. They go hand in hand. One person might say, well, I was doing service, I had no time to chant today. Nonsense. You have no potency to do service if you don't chant and read Prabhupada's books. These are the two foundations, Shravanam Kirtanam, hearing, reading Prabhupada's books, and chanting the holy name. So, simple process, very simple. Pavitra. Wait until he's coming with me.
In relation to committing offenses to the Vaishnavas, we shouldn't commit offenses to anyone, even non-devotees.
What? Okay, now we have to, thank you, because the next part, one would think, how do I avoid the offenses? Okay, I'm sorry I made an offense. What should I do? I'm stuck here with all my offenses. How do I get out of this? Lord Chaitanya says in Shikshastika 3, one should chant the holy, he gives us instructions how to chant without offenses. One should chant the holy name in a humble state of mind, thinking himself lower than the straw on the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree, ready to offer all respect to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant constantly. Constantly. Remember that word, constantly. Prabhupada said we should constantly remember Krishna 24 hours a day. And the best way to remember Krishna is to chant Hare Krishna. So, and you're right, we should not offend anyone. If you chant in a humble state of mind, you will not offend anyone. More tolerant than the tree. And then, Shikshastika 4, oh my Lord, I do not desire wealth, I do not desire beautiful women, I do not desire any number of followers. My only desire is your pure devotional service, birth after birth. Lord Chaitanya didn't desire anything in this world. If we desire something in this world, envy is right there, right next to it. The more material desires we have, then envy is an opening. It's an opening. Maya is very clever. She knows exactly how to get in. Envy is this is her weapon. This is the greatest weapon of Maya, is envy. That's what provoked the Duryodhana to dedicate his life to the destruction of the Pandavas. Even from the very beginning, he arranged for Bhima to be drowned in a kund and the house of lac. And I mean, so how could Krishna? But of course, we see Krishna is so merciful. He's feeling sorry for this pathetic soul. But very important not to cultivate envy, and then we can chant purely. We chant purely if we are not offensive, and if we are tolerant, and if we don't have envy. It takes a little work. Definitely it takes work. We're conditioned souls. It's not going to be easy. But we have the tools. We have the tools. Mataji?
Thank you for your wonderfully inspiring class. I'm so happy to hear your emphasis on the holy name. If you could kindly share with us some tips on how you develop this taste for the holy name so that we can also develop this taste, it will be very helpful.
Very good. So I over the years have cultivated a desire to hear about the glories of the holy name. If we hear about the glories of the holy name, we become convinced. I read one verse from Prem Vivarta in this little book, Prem Vivarta, which is about the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya in Navadvip, and some actually are in Jagannath Puri. Anyway, if we read about the glories, the last 2 chapters in this book are dedicated to the glorification of the holy name. The 19th chapter that's the next last chapter, is the mysteries of the holy name. The next chapter, glories of the holy name. And I read you the first verse of that chapter. So if you read a glorification of the holy name. There are so many books glorifying the holy name. There are so many verses in the Bhagavatam. Read the Ajamil story. Just read about the holy name and also chant. Chant. Understand this is the most important time of your day. You are with Krishna. And also when you're having a conversation and you're in the middle of your chanting, it's just like I'm talking to my god sister here, and then I keep getting interrupted, the phone rings, and that's not respectful. You dedicate the time to chanting. If your mind goes, take a book and start to read something. Take Prabhupada's book. You read a verse. You have something to think about it, because you have to put something in the head. You can't have a blank mind and chant. You know, the mind is never blank. Something's always going to creep in there. So we want to chant more. First, chant consciously. Understand you're with Krishna. This is sacred. It's sacred. It's your sacred time with the Supreme Personality of Godhead in His most merciful form, right? So that would be 2 things that I would say. Chant, and also don't be afraid to increase your rounds. Give the time, but make it very steady. Make it steady. You have this amount of rounds to chant at this time. You have this amount of rounds to chant at this time. And you can do that. You add 16 rounds eventually. You know, why not? When Prabhupada, I think Mahamaya knows this story. When Prabhupada first he told us that we have to chant 64 rounds. And the devotees said, whoa, 64 rounds? What am I going to, how? Not possible. We'll talk about the Western mind. Oh my goodness, not possible. And he said, okay, 32 rounds. And still the devotees were squirming. You know, new devotees, just right off the street. We didn't know anything. And then he said 16 rounds and nothing less. This is called one gunta, I think. One gunta. Anyway, we should, over the years, develop a taste for our chanting that we will want to spend more time with the holy name. We have to do it. We have to make the endeavor. We have to be convinced. That's why we read about the glories of the holy name. We have to be convinced that this is the Yuga Dharma. This is what the Lord came to give us. This is the prime benediction, and this is what we're trying to give others. And if we don't have it, we cannot give it. Okay? Anyone else? Prabhu?
Hare Krishna Mataji, very nice class, Masadi, very inspiring. In regards to that holy name, what I realized and convinced, we call out the mother, just Ma, when we call mothers look for the son, like that. So what I tell you in Brahmanda Puranam. In Brahmanda Puranam, that one time calling out Rama is equal to 1,000 times calling the Vishnu's name. And this, as you said in Kali Yuga, this time we don't have time to chant 1,000 times Vishnu's name. And very sweetly, Mahaprabhu has given this holy name. One time calling Rama is for 1,000 times Vishnu. And imagine in Maha Mantra, I was like, why this Maha Mantra? There are so many mantra, and Maha Mantra, this is not just a normal mantra, because for every deities and devatas, we have a different mantra. But I grown up. When you go and see Lord Ganesh, chant this. Lord Saraswati, chant this. This is what I grown up. And then when I saw first time in ISKCON about Maha Mantra, I realized, and then I came to know, I'm convinced actually. Because when I heard that in the Brahmanda Purana, it says that one Rama, 1,000 times Vishnu name, one Krishna, 3 times of Rama. In the Maha Mantra got 16 Krishna, 16 Rama. The 16,000 times we are calling out Vishnu's name. Imagine in one Maha Mantra, then it's not a normal, ordinary mantra. I was convinced and was so attached to that very much. And imagine in 108 times when you chant, it becomes 1.7 million times. And 108 times, 16 times when you chant, it becomes 27 million times.
Oh my God.
This is really unbelievable actually. Okay. So what the sweetest thing, gift, the benedictions Mahaprabhu's given, I'm so attached to that. I'm saying. Yeah. And also the way I chant also, I have a static chanting and dynamic chanting. So as you said, focus on the static one, full without interruptions. Just have to be a time for that 16 rounds. Remaining, for dynamic, I have different way.
Okay,
I do this.
Okay, but just because the potency of one name of Krishna is so much, doesn't mean you just chant one name. Yeah. Right? Yeah, good. So yes, chant. Couldn't completely understand all the things that you said, but I encourage you to continue. We are being given the prime benediction. That's what it is. So keep chanting, and you'll become very happy. The thing is, we'll fall in love with Krishna. We're supposed to fall in love with Krishna. He is our eternal lover, in so many different relationships. And love is the serum. Love is the thing that we want. So by chanting Krishna's name, we fall in love with Krishna. That sounds good to me.
Thank you so much, Mataji.
Thank you so much. We'll continue chanting. Yeah, okay, if anyone doesn't, that's it. Jai, thank you so much, and thank you for the opportunity of speaking in Mayapur. Jai.